You're listening to the Productivity for Profit podcast with me, Libby Knight. With almost 20 years in business, from big corporate to business ownership, the one recurring problem I've noticed and witnessed time and time again is how to be effectively productive in a way that doesn't feel pressured and stressful, so that the balance between work and life feels good. In this series, we're going to redefine what productivity means and explore why it feels hard right now and what you can do to change that, both through practical action and from your inner mindset, so that you're set up for a better outcome. Each episode will approach productivity from a new angle, helping you to make positive, long-lasting, feel-good change for better results. So, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur or leader who wants to redefine and transform your productivity, then stay tuned. Welcome back to the Productivity for Profit podcast. And today we're diving into a topic that has come up again and again this year with my one-to-one clients, in my membership, and really strongly at the retreat. And that recurring theme is boundaries. My clients are all ambitious, they're passionate, and they're doing incredible work. But when they lack effective boundaries, it stops them from, dare I say it, fulfilling their potential. It's held them back from stepping into the next version of themselves and developing their business to where they want it to be. So a conversation about boundaries is one that has to be had. And I'm going to share a list of reasons why today. At the time of recording, we're at the end of the year, which is the perfect time to review your boundaries. But if you haven't done a boundary review lately, then any time is the perfect time, because boundaries are not fixed. They evolve as you evolve. So we should be reviewing boundaries regularly to make sure that we not only have helpful boundaries in place, but that they're still working and that we're still sticking to them. So today we're going to talk about why boundaries are so essential, what they protect, how poor boundaries show up, the identity upgrade required to hold strong boundaries, practical ways to set and maintain them, and understanding why boundaries are your responsibility. They're not something that you can outsource to anyone else. So let's get into it by asking, why do boundaries matter so much? Most business owners learn the answer to this question the hard way. When you don't set boundaries, someone else is going to set them for you. So your inbox will set your boundaries, or your clients will set your boundaries, your family will set your boundaries, urgency will set your boundaries. And the consequences of allowing this to happen is that you're going to spend your day being reactive instead of staying proactive. And the emotional toll, well, don't worry, we're going to get into that. At this point, I just want to address a limiting belief that I know some people have, whether they're in corporate or if they have their own business, and it's this: boundaries are not, in fact, restrictive. They're not restrictions. They're not walls you put up or rigid rules that make your life smaller. In fact, boundaries are the structure that protect your time, protect your energy, protect your vision, protect your nervous system, and protect your future. And when you realize that, boundaries become non-negotiable. So what do boundaries allow you to do? The list is vast, but here are 12. And if you can't find enough reasons in this list to set better boundaries, then you are going to suffer. Boundaries are not selfish. As you'll see, they're vital. So here goes. Boundaries prevent your schedule from being dictated by external influences. Think about those people who email you and want you to do something now or by whenever. Are you going to allow them to dictate how you run your business? Boundaries reduce stress. They reduce feelings of being overwhelmed by life, and they reduce the fatigue you can feel from making never-ending decisions. because you won't be making never-ending decisions because you'll have boundaries in place. And boundaries support you in sticking to your plan. With boundaries in place, you can maintain a flexibility without losing direction. Yes, boundaries and flexibility do work in harmony. Boundaries mean saying yes to what serves your goal and empower you to say no to what derails your goal. And boundaries help you to avoid unnecessary complexity in your business. And as they say, complexity kills conversion. Boundaries are great for ring fencing your time for what actually moves the needle or what matters to you most. And boundaries prevent you from feeling like you need to over-deliver or pander to needy clients or demanding colleagues or people please to your detriment. In fact, boundaries result in attracting a higher caliber of client because you repel those that don't take responsibility for their own success. And boundaries are going to stop you from slipping into perfectionism and other old patterns of self-sabotage. And very importantly, boundaries serve you greatly in making sure you don't reach burnout. And boundaries protect your nervous system and help you to maintain a better set point. They'll help maintain balance or support you to recover in times of stress. And the result of setting boundaries is ultimately that you're going to feel calm and in control of your business and your life. So you can see that when people come to me with feelings of frustration and resentment, being exhausted or fed up with a lack of progress in their business, more often than not, there is a boundary issue in there. It's one of the crucial foundational missing pieces. So think of your life a bit like a garden. And it's full of things you're growing, your ideas, the relationships, your health, your clients, your creativity, your goals. And now imagine that this garden has nothing protecting it. There's no fence, no boundary, no gate, nothing separating it from the public footpath that runs by. So people just wander in whenever they want. They pick the flowers, they trample the new emerging seedlings you so carefully planted. They take your tools, they leave their mess behind. They disrupt your weeding and nurturing, and they don't mean any harm. All they see is an open space. Nothing tells them they can't just wander in and treat it however they feel. If this garden is like your business and your time and your focus, it's no wonder you're feeling frustrated and resentful and unappreciated, even disrespected. But the thing is, you didn't put the gate up. You didn't put the fence up. You left it wide open. You didn't set any boundaries. And it is your responsibility to determine who comes into your world and when and for what purpose. You decide what you will focus on. You decide what you will no longer allow. And when you put boundaries around you and your business and your time, and other people wander into your space and try to hijack your resources, that feels like you're being invaded. So instead, you can choose to empower yourself by placing boundaries around whatever needs your protection. No one else has the responsibility to be your gatekeeper, and expecting them to know and you haven't shown them, that's not fair on you or them. It's your responsibility to close the gate and put up the sign. You can't resent people for walking into a garden without boundaries, but you can decide the changes and start putting new boundaries in place today. Because if you don't, there's going to be consequences. And some common signs that your boundaries need a review and an upgrade that you may recognise, and these are based on real patterns I've seen with my clients, are things like when your schedule gets hijacked by emails and DMs or other people's urgent needs, you people please or feel guilty saying no, especially at work and with family. And you work late into the evening or at weekends because you keep telling yourself that you're not getting enough done. And you agree to things that you really don't want to do. You do free work for your friends, or you over-deliver constantly or give away too much free content and advice. You feel resentful, but you keep saying yes. You feel put upon or unappreciated, constantly in reactive state. You struggle to protect time for your own priorities and your own well-being. And I always advise scheduling me time before anything else, because otherwise, it just won't happen. And you can feel overwhelmed from the feelings of busyness if you don't put boundaries in place and around your time. And your nervous system just never gets a break, and you're in constant heightened state of anxiety or worry or stress. If you're still telling yourself that boundaries are a luxury, or you don't have time to set boundaries, I'm hoping that by now you can see the toll this has been having on you. Boundaries aren't just practical, they're deeply emotional, and they even affect the identity that you hold as a business owner. So, who do you need to become to hold boundaries? Or do the boundaries help you to step into that new self and business leader identity? So, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Do strong boundaries come from strong identity, or does strong identity come from strong boundaries? Well, I think they go hand in hand. To be someone who sets and maintains boundaries, you need to cultivate personality traits like confidence and self-respect, clarity of vision, emotional intelligence, calm decision-making, a regulated nervous system, self-trust, discipline, and detachment from other people's reactions, leadership, self-leadership. But most people struggle with boundaries not because they don't know how to set them, but because they haven't yet become the person who believes they're allowed to have them. So yes, boundaries require identity work, but action is also a fantastic teacher. So just get started. And when you do upgrade your identity, your boundaries will become easier, more natural, and non-negotiable. So let's get into the how. How do you start to set helpful and supportive boundaries? As always, we start with the end in mind. You need to know what it is that your boundaries will protect. So start with your plan. Reflect on the vision. What is it that you really want? That's going to bring clarity on what actually matters, what you want to prioritize, what makes a difference and maintains momentum, so that you can reach your goals or be the best owner, partner, friend, or parent you can be. Your plan is the North Star, and all roads will lead there, and your boundaries are going to protect that journey. So let your plan be your guide. Let it guide your decisions. If something doesn't serve the plan, it's a no. If it does, it's a yes. See, it's not complicated. And if you review your plan daily, it's going to help you to keep proactive instead of constantly reactive. You're going to want to define those non-negotiables. And that includes what you always do because it serves you, what you never do because it's just a distraction, what you always charge because it's a fair energetic exchange for the result that you offer. Remember, money is energy like anything else. What you no longer tolerate because it's damaging to your priorities. How you respond to requests in a way that preserves the integrity of your business and your life. And what must be in place for you to actually say yes. So here's a few simple and practical boundaries you can put in place to protect your time. You can set designated times to look at your email inbox, for example. So say half an hour before you break for lunch and halfway through the afternoon. But don't look at your emails first thing if you don't want your day to be hijacked. Because if someone has asked you to look at something, it can be very hard to put it to one side. An instinct is to deal with it there and then. And then what's happened to your plan? You've allowed someone else to override it. You can limit social media scrolling or clicking on links on websites, because who knows where you'll end up. So know what you're there for and stay on track. These sites are designed to distract you, Don't give them that power. And use timers. Use your Pomodoro technique. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, because timers are fantastic for getting tasks done. So simple. Or just put a sign on your door when you don't want people to disturb you. You're working, but your family need to know that. You can put an out of office on your emails to protect your precious and essential downtime. These are all super useful boundaries. So simple, but so effective. Another important one that can be the most challenging is communicating boundaries with your family. Put away the guilt. Just explain what you need, because they probably want to support you, and this is one way they can do that. It's going to set expectations, because they don't know the line between mum time and business time if you don't communicate that it's important to you to have time to work on your business. If you don't respect your business, you can't expect anyone else to. So together you can agree on the signals, like when the door's closed, don't disturb, or you ask if anybody needs anything before you get to work and can't be disturbed. Clarity is going to make things so much simpler for everyone. And boundaries make space for what's really important to you. Because on your deathbed, you are not going to worry about whether you answered a specific email the minute it came in or mopped the mud off the kitchen floor. What you will remember is the quality time, the relationships, how you cared for your precious body as it got older or in times where it was stressed. You'll remember the good times. These are the things that need time and planning, but that we so often neglect. So please put them first, not as an afterthought when you have to squeeze them in between the other stuff. Start by reconnecting with what truly matters. And leading on from that, create space, because space is where the magic often happens. So what are you going to let go of to make the space for new ideas, new experiences, for the ahas and the special moments? If your time is overly scheduled and rigid, there is no time for exploration and change. New ideas can't come in. There's less choice to say yes when there is a new opportunity. And you have confined yourself to just one possible future. So what could you be missing out on? Space requires boundaries to preserve it, because if you don't protect it, someone else is going to occupy it, dictating what that precious time is used for. Another skill to cultivate that sets productive boundaries is setting expectations with your clients from day one, because clarity prevents confusion and even conflict later down the line. When everyone knows where they stand, they know what they're agreeing to, and that makes for smoother sailing. And lastly, get comfortable with saying no, or not yet, kindly, of course, because saying no in the right context is kinder than overcommitting and then becoming resentful or having to let people down. So ultimately, the consequences of not having proactive, well-considered boundaries are unpleasant and numerous. There's burnout, there's resentment, there's feeling of out of control, there's over-delivering to your detriment, there's attracting the wrong clients, losing your momentum, procrastinating, overthinking and indecision, overwhelm, guilt, never feeling like you're caught up, making sacrifices, losing your mojo, or even falling out of love with your business. And that's a high cost, one that you don't have to make and can avoid with a few well thought out boundaries. Because when you have the right, strong boundaries for you, you feel grounded. You're proactive instead of constantly reactive. You make better decisions. You hold your standards to your values and not to other people's. You attract better clients. You move towards your goals faster and easier. You feel proud of how you lead yourself. You create space for the vision. You actually have time to enjoy your business. You make consistent progress. You have a better regulated nervous system. You take your power back and you stand in that power every day. And this is the transformation that I see in my clients who have chosen because it is a choice, to redefine their boundaries. They've taken that responsibility and no longer relinquish it to other people and outside forces. They feel in control, not controlled. And the knock-on effects are life-changing. They go from feeling overwhelmed and pulled in every direction to feeling calm, strategic, and in control because their boundaries are now a match for the identity of the person they're becoming. Boundaries aren't meant to confine you. They're meant to set you free from all the things that have been holding you back and distracting you from realizing your goals. Boundaries create space to execute the plan for the life and business you actually want. Start with a vision and design your boundaries that support you and make it a reality. So, as you move into this new year, I invite you to reflect on two things. What do you want your life and business to look like? And what boundaries would make that possible? Because the truth is, the business you want is going to require a new level of boundaries. And that starts with stepping up and being who you need to be and doing what you need to do. And of course, you don't need to do it all alone because I'm here to support you every step of the way if you choose, as you build your business and evolve as the owner or leader you know you're destined to be. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.